What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 6 huge mistakes that yours truly made in our first 15 months of the stock trading Discord. And before this video is done, my intention is to offer you a bit of hope, especially if you're struggling in your personal and, dare I say, professional life. All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, congratulations to all you Ripaholics. Last trade, 275 on the nose. We lost not one, but 2 this morning who quit our Discord. One who said to me, and I quote, "Why in the world? No offense, Jason. Why would I put money into the S&P giving me 10 to 12% a year when I could 10x it in an altcoin?" Okay. Welcome to Clown Town, ladies and gentlemen. The same people who were bitching and moaning, crying and complaining in Ripple at 50 to 75 cents a share for years, suddenly you couldn't pry it out of their hands with a fucking blowtorch. Last trade, 276 and a half. But before I get to the second half of my very important video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. Let me go through all 6 major disasters, catastrophes that have cost me 15 grand a month. Because in case you haven't heard a time or two, half of my business has walked out the door since June of this year. The first and major reason for that is the Kraken. We were buying the Kraken for over a year, all the way down to 4 cents and small change. Most of us got our average in and around 5 or 6 cents a share. And then we started selling in 10% increments. Same thing I suggest you do on shit coins like Ripple and anything else that you're up 5, 10, 15x. You do not need to sell it all at once. And we got out somewhere between 27 and 30 cents on the Kraken. It was life-changing money. In fact, I was just down the street at my favorite place, walking through the park, and I broke down in tears. I could still remember exactly where I was because I knew the difference it was not only going to make in my life, but more importantly, in the lives of hundreds of people. Currently 381 strong. But that number was, at its peak, 540. So the mistake number 1 that cost me half my business was sticking my hand back in that cookie jar. And I knew it was wrong. As a friend once told me many years ago when I was a broker in 1993, first starting out in the business, "Jason, you can never make a souffle rise twice." It's kind of like when you've got dough, right? You're making a loaf of bread. You take it out from being covered in the sun and you punch it down. It's not going to rise to the same level ever again. So take my advice, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever stick your hand back into the same cookie jar. Holo, right? From $2 to $80 all the way down to a quarter before they did a reverse split. I could keep going. Whether it was the shitcoin collapse in 2021, the Kraken, Holo, Zap, Sing, FFIE went from 4 cents to 388. I was screaming, "Sell it all," right near the top. And it reverse split adjusted, went all the way down to less than where it started. The Kraken right now at 27 and a half cents is less than a quarter of 1 cent pre-split. And by the way, fun fact. If you bought 1 share of the Kraken, reverse split adjusted, when they came public in 2021, it was 50 grand. That 50 grand is worth about a quarter. So when I sit here and I say that the CEO of this company has no credibility, the main reason for that is if you had invested in their IPO, and again, reverse split adjusted, a 1 for 60 and a 1 for 150, headed to who knows what in the next 12 months. It's all the way down to about a quarter. And if you're wondering why we laid off at $1, I could see as the share count was going from 2 to 5 to 10 to wherever the fuck it is right now, because I can promise you this is not naked selling, and their dead silence should be a giveaway. They made a decision, wrongly so, to suspend the ELOC. That was the correct answer. and then for whatever reason, turn it back on. And not only turn it back on, but mow it the fuck down from $1 when we stopped buying to about $0.25. So flip a coin, ladies and gentlemen. There's a 50% chance it's going back to a nickel for the third time. Not right away, but in the next 3 to 6 months. And then at some point, late summer, early fall, and they'll have gotten beyond the year at that point, they're going to have to do another reverse split. There's about a 50% chance it's going to pump somewhere between $0.50 and $1. I will go on record right now, the same guy who's about to tell you 5 more major mistakes. I don't think it's going back up and over $1 organically to maintain NASDAQ compliance. In my humble opinion, the guy who made a horrendous mistake rebuying this fucking stock and giving back 80% plus of my winnings, I don't think it's going to be able to recover all the way back up and over $1 and stay there. There's too much supply that has been added. Every time you see a 20, 30% balance pre or post market, and then it's mowed right the fuck down the next day, that's dilution. That's not dumb retail selling. They've been buying the whole fucking thing up as much as they can, all the way from $1 when we said no more. So I will never personally ever put another $1 in this stock. And I just gave you the odds of going to a nickel and or back close to $1 at even Steven. Do not put more than 10 or 15% of your trading capital into that stock and you won't get wiped out. Mistake number 2, GRTS and now Q. Bankrupt. Long story short, we were buying the stock between 50 cents and $0.75. Phase 2 and 3 news didn't go our way. I had a chance to get out in the low to mid 20s. I decided not to do that. Not the first mistake I've made. And we ultimately saw it go all the way to 2.5, 3 cents a share. We sold half and then the other half for tax laws purposes in the last week to 10 days. Biotech stocks are basically a lottery ticket. If the phase 2 and particularly 3 news doesn't go your way, they're going down 80%. What was it? Sava most recently, SAVA, went from 20 something or thereabouts all the way to $4 and less. If it doesn't go your way, it's coming down in a big way. It kind of rhymes, but it's true. If it does go your way, that's the infamous 3, 5, 10x, kind of like the shit coins are doing right now. But even that never lasts. Stocks, crypto have gravity. Anytime they get up 5, 10, 20x from their 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, they cannot sustain that level of nosebleed territory. So I'm telling you guys right now, and gals, I'm going to revisit this again a number of times. You are making a huge mistake if you own Ripple or anything else that's up 5, 10, 15x. You don't have to sell it all, but don't make the mistake I did with the Kraken and or with GRTSQ and a couple other stocks I'm about to mention. Do not allow life-changing money to stop you from properly managing risk. Sell 5, 10, 15%. How does it feel? It feels good. I feel more relaxed. Okay, great. The next time it goes up another 20 or 30 or 40%, sell another 5 or 10%. And then you better have a very tight trailing stop, because I can promise you, when and if the bubble bursts, and in my opinion, it's the first quarter of this coming year, in the next 2 or 3 months, probably when Bitcoin tops out plus or minus 5K of 125, you're going to see Ripple, Pepe, SHIB, all the other shit coins go down twice as much, if not more. They're way outperforming Bitcoin, and they're going to do the same on the downside. But I'll save most of that for another day. Mistake number 3 made by yours truly is getting rid of Sophie too early. Recall, same channel. I told you multiple times to buy it at 6.25. And it was a very frustrating stock, up to 7 and change, back to 6.5, up to 8, back to 7.25. It was so frustrating. In fact, their largest insider sold about 20 million shares at 7.25, literally weeks before it took off. And when we were suffering through months of underperformance or lag, we were saying, give us 9 or 10 and we're out the door. Well, that's exactly what I did. I sold on average in the low 9s. We made, if my memory serves me, 52 or 62% on our money. Pretty good for about 4 months. Well, it recently hit 16 and change. Way overbought, 100% over its 200-day. A short squeeze combined with a melt up in the index it's in, the IWM, to all-time highs, and it fucking just went up another 70%. And we have some peacocks, God love each and every one inside of our Discord, just strutting away. Some of them were even bold enough to say, I'm not going to sell most of mine now. And they were right. I got out at 9 and change, and they're still in it at 16. But here's the deal. Not one of those cocksuckers, not one, ever thought it was going to 16. Just like not one of you fucking clowns that were crying and spilt beer in Ripple for 18 months to 2 years at 50 cents. You never thought it was going close to $3, and here you are. And if I'd have said to you back then, when fucking Sophie was 6 and change, I'll give you 16 for it, right? Sold. Or Ripple, when it was fucking going sideways forever at 50, 60 cents. I'll give you $2.79 right now. I think that's near close to a 52-week high. Sold. You would have sold every fucking share and thought I was crazy for offering you that. Welcome to dumb retail. They're ready to jump out of a window at all-time lows, and they're so lathered up in FOMO at all-time highs they just can't let go. Don't be that stupid. Sell some of it on the way up. So, never should have rebought the Kraken. Should have got out at 20 and change in GRTSQ, although that couldn't have offset 140 wins. Not all this year. But since we opened last September 1st, we have 140 wins, 3 losses. BENF was a minus 3%, but some of you doubled your money because a half hour after I sold at 4, I think I saw it under $1 now. It went to 12. We were down 56% in BENF. I said, I'm getting out at close to break even. The fucking thing triples a half an hour later. But it's all the way, as I just said, down under $1 or thereabouts. Much less than where I got out at $4 a share. So I let go of Sophie. I also didn't get out of 2 stocks. And I've mentioned at least one, but I'm going to tell you about both of them. BidF. Own the stock at 182 or thereabouts. I called the top at 275 in the Discord. I do 6, 7, 8 videos a day. You never see them in terms of the light of day on YouTube. It's part of what I offer for literally less than $2 a day. We now have a save 50% annually at shopsmallbiz.com. It works out to $50 a month, $600 a year for a Discord. I've eliminated the price objection, and I'll talk more about that in a second, especially if you have a business and you're struggling as I am. But I called the top. It's my way of fucking with the peacockers and adding as much value as I can. I rang the bell at 275. I said the miners are topping. BidF is topping. It was a 40%, 50% move. I didn't take it. Why didn't I take it? Well, A, I didn't think it was coming down to $2.04 as it is right now. I didn't think I'd give back 65% of my paper gains. And I didn't want to give up my 182 or thereabouts average because I believe that crypto, Bitcoin, is going up to close to February, March, $1.25. Maybe sooner, but I doubt it. And then it's going to have its usual 30 to 40% drawdown. The shit coins are going to go down 50 to 75%. And I'm going to be the fuck out of Dodge and whatever miner I own, BidF in this case, before that happens. But in a perfect world, I should have sold when I told the peacockers to get out at 275. Now, some of them did. I had a couple of guys actually email me. I decided to get out. Congratulations. You're smarter than I am. Another stock that I should have sold, and I called the top 2 or 3 days ago, Open. I believe interest rates are coming down. I believe real estate's going to be smoking hot in 2025 and 6 after struggling. New home sales were at a 1995 low, not since in the last 20 years or thereabouts has the real estate market been this stagnant. So we were buying the stock all the way down to the 150s, got an average of 178 in Open, last trade 206. But I could have gotten out at 248 And I rang the bell at the exact high once again. Folks that are in the Discord, they don't have to do what I do. I'm okay owning a stock for 2 or 3 months. Some of them are not. So I will continue to do that. I won't always be right. But right here, this guy that some of you have grown to hate, I am right more than 95% of the time and have been for years. When I have fixed supply like Bitcoin and crypto, especially Bitcoin, I'm almost never wrong. When I'm fighting dilution, when I can't use chart or pattern recognition, stochastics, MACD, and occasionally RSI to determine proper entry and exit because there's a CEO like Doug in the background just hammering the fucking float, sometimes I fail, but not often. And you pay me less than $2 a day for that advice, by the way. Forgive me as I have a senior moment. The Kraken, GRTSQ, sold Sophie too early, didn't get out of, or at least sell half of open and bid F. Oh, ELAB. Or was it a mistake? We almost doubled our money. Shout out to our chef, Sean Vincent, who pointed that out about a year ago in ELAB. We then bought it back, not unusual. We've bought back and sold stocks in some cases 3 or 4 times. Well, we got in the stock in the low 50s, decided to take about a 20 to 30% loss in the mid 30s. And the stock recently went down to about a penny and did a massive 1 for 200 reverse. So while I did make the mistake of buying ELAB back, and we did lose 25 or 30% on the rebuy, still net positive versus the 70% to 100 gain, I did prevent people from rebuying the stock at 15, 10, 6, a nickel, and even lower. And reverse split adjusted, it's actually less than a penny right now at $1 and change. So while I may have missed something, it is a fact that if I went to 100% cash right now, I'd be 143 and 6. There's 2 other stocks in addition to the Kraken that I would take a loss on. But the other 2 are not down more than 20%. Anytime you can average 20 to 25 wins for every loss you take, it's worth a hell of a lot more than $2 a day. And with that said, and thank you for at least a third of you staying with me, what have I noticed personally in the last 6 months to a year that might be affecting some of you? You may have noticed the world is speeding up. And we're about to have a president that can get 4 years worth of work done in less than 4 months. So if you've noticed, everything is happening faster, right? You can get anything delivered to your house in 24 hours or less. You can get any food you want in an hour or less. In fact, I was on Uber Eats over the weekend. I hadn't had Thai in a while. So I went to the Thai application and I saw something that looked interesting. And midway through my order, I noticed the time to delivery was 40 minutes. And I said, I ain't having that. So I ended up switching to a 15-minute guy, and it was subpar at best. We have gotten to a point where we can't even wait an extra 10 or 15 minutes. And now we have to learn, as I pointed out this morning in the Discord, that starting in February, we're going to have 24-hour-a-day trading in the stock market 5 days a week. Try to imagine what that's going to do to your quality of life. Try to imagine cortisol and adrenaline and stress hormones just being completely out of whack. Mark my words, divorce rates, heart attacks, cancer, etc., they're all going to go through the roof because no one's going to be able to relax anymore. Just imagine the blowback I'm going to face if I don't have enough already, if the scammers decide they're going to pump something at midnight on a Friday when we're all out getting, or most of us anyway, getting hammered. And something goes from a nickel to half a dollar, and then by Sunday night or Saturday afternoon, it's right back where it started. Are you going to want me texting you at 1 o'clock in the morning No. Are you going to want to be informed that while you were trying to get some sleep, one of your stocks 5, 10x'd and you weren't able to get out in time? No. So I can tell you, not only is everything speeding up in crypto land, now people think, oh, hey, 10x is no big deal. Fuck the S&P. Fuck Jason. Fuck this buying for my retirement. Fuck holding anything longer, including my wife, more than fucking a few months to a year. I want it now. Now, right now. I want my food. I want my drugs. Hey, you're about to get it. Hard stuff too. You know what's next? Prostitution. And after they legalize prostitution, you're going to have Sarah XDAX 69 knocking on your door. And she's going to suck you off exactly the protocol. She'll get in her driverless car, go right up the street, self-clean, remove 99.9% of all viruses and bacteria, and go on to the next guy. So if you're sitting there, as I have been, watching friends come and go, money come and go, health come and go, your wife, your spouse, your husband, your children just come and go. Everyone's chasing instant gratification. And I think it's going to get even worse because once AI really kicks in and productivity goes through the roof, and yes, it's going to take the stock market with it. Companies are going to get rid of a third of their workforce, if not more, and do the same faster, better, cheaper. And as a result, earnings are going to go through the roof. But it's going to come with a hell of a price. Not only are you, if you're a small business owner, going to have to get used to much higher churn rates. You think it's 10%, 20%, double it, if not more. I've delivered over a 98% win rate. I have 5x'd people's money if they followed me in and out of all 140 wins, or 70 in the last 7.5 months to be exact. But that hasn't stopped half of people making up fucking stories in their head or thinking they can go buy as much Ripple as they want at $2.77 and they're going to be rich. They might be for the next few months. Who knows, maybe even a year. But when the party's over and the jig is up, the bags that are handed out are going to take you right to the bottom of the fucking ocean. In closing, what do I suggest you learn from my mistakes? 1, no one's perfect. As close to perfect as I've been, it's not good enough for some people. I'm okay with those that leave and they write things about me. Oh, he's an asshole. He's this, he's that. That doesn't bother me an ounce. The only thing that bothers me are the people that don't follow directions and try to say, oh, I never made any money. Bullshit. You lying cocksucker. Because if you didn't follow directions. We nailed the cues for your retirement account almost 100 points ago. 40 points ago on the IWM. We got into the SPY as low as 510. Last trade well over 600. I told you to buy Bitcoin at 52,000. It's doubled. Some of you have privately asked me about shitcoins. Today's the first day I've said since the super cycle began on exactly November 3rd for most of these coins, right in front of the election, you got to start taking 5 or 10% off the table. Nobody, not me, not you, not anyone knows when the jig is up. Anything could happen. They've already tried to kill Trump twice. God forbid they're ever successful. You never know. Also, might I suggest, get yourself price competitive if you own a small business. Take away the price objection. I'm not saying that you pay yourself less than you deserve, but if you can be at or preferably slightly below your competition and continue to add more and more value as much as you can, the better. Ain't nobody going to fucking tell me that $50 a month is expensive. It ain't for you if that's the case. So get yourself price competitive. You still want to make a profit? You still want to be able to put food on the table and put your kids, if you have any, through college. I'm not saying give away the farm. But if you can be slightly below and blow away your competition with your level of commitment and value that you add, you're going to be able to survive. Because as the machines continue to become more and more pervasive throughout society, dare I say, anyone who's got a personality like a block of ice is fucking doomed. If I'm able to survive competing against 80% of the volume, which is already an algorithm and soon to be AI, it's probably not going to be because I'm damn good at what I do. It's probably going to be because several hundred people, maybe even 1,000 at some day, just think I'm fucking pretty cool. And they're willing to pay me $50 a month or $75 a few years from now just for the education and entertainment factor. And until next time, I hope you got something out of this video. Always remember that I love you. Oh, I think there was another mistake or two. And thanks for watching.